Hey, what's up guys, Mikey here. I love a good party. Sure, parties these days can cost at least $60, but as long as they're done right, they can be an absolute blast, and that's all that matters. I also bought this party online for a lot more money than $60, mainly because I love Mario Party and it was complete in box, and I wanted to get it before it inevitably goes up in price again. And I can't even play this game because I don't have a Game Boy Advance or e-reader, which is the only way to play this game. Just goes to show that just because something's expensive, doesn't mean it's better than the standard thing. All That Glitters is the episode where SpongeBob breaks his spatula and is hesitant to replace it until he sees a big, fancy, expensive one. This episode aired on June 2nd, 2006, and is also the only time a monster Krabby Patty was mentioned in the series. It was never seen again, and we also never got to see what it looked like beyond the raw meat. That's such a shame, and I still mourn about it whenever I have a burger of some kind. This episode was originally known as Obsession, but it was changed over time to the final title we got. While Obsession kind of makes sense because of SpongeBob's unhealthy obsession with spat, I actually prefer the final title since this episode also teaches that very same moral. And, that's all I got right now. I don't hear a lot of people talking about this one. I remember liking it quite a bit as a kid. My cousin and I used to play the montage of SpongeBob and Spat together late at night when she and her family were in town and she was staying at my house. But that's the most notable childhood memory that I have with this one. Well, if I don't have a ton to say about this episode now, let's watch it to see if I can come up with more to say. So the episode starts up and a customer orders a monster Krabby Patty. Everybody at the Krusty Krab is shocked when they hear this, except Squidward. But how much does a monster Krabby Patty cost? SpongeBob tries to flip the giant blob of meat, but his spatula snaps in half and he goes crazy and starts screaming and crying to so many people. It goes on and on until finally an ambulance comes to take Spat away. Despite Mr. Krabs telling him to use another spatula, SpongeBob doesn't want to use another one aside from the one that he's always used, which he now named Spat. SpongeBob rushed to the hospital to see Spat. He reflected on all the good times he's had with him. SpongeBob also used Spat as a multi-purpose tool, a ping pong paddle, and he helped him win against a battle with a pirate. Did that pirate die? The doctor told SpongeBob to start thinking about a replacement spatula, and then revealed that he was really an actor trying to get a role. SpongeBob went home thinking he could never replace Spat, but soon saw Lay Spatula. SpongeBob thought maybe he would need it after all. Well, he needs a spatula, but not this one. The clerk told him he could only hold it if he purchased it, and even with all the money in his pockets and everything he owns, he couldn't afford Lay Spatula. The clerk agreed to give it to him for everything he owns and SpongeBob's outfit. And that's still less than what I paid for Mario Party E. SpongeBob went back to work naked, much to the shock of everybody, and the amusement of Squidward. Mr. Krabs saw SpongeBob naked, and SpongeBob showed off the new Lay Spatula to Squidward and Mr. Krabs, saying it would take care of the issue with Spat being out of commission. He showed off some of the fancy features of Lay Spatula, and right before starting to cook, Lay Spatula didn't seem to want to. When SpongeBob tried to cook, Lay Spatula said he was designed for the most fancy culinary cuisine and wouldn't touch the Krabby Patty. SpongeBob was shocked by this, and Lay Spatula grew legs, ran away, and... Ooh, that reminds me of a time I encountered somebody filming a vertically based video in public.
Au revoir, peasants!
They even said that exact same thing to me. SpongeBob realized how he f***ed up by buying that spatula and started to miss Spat even more. Mr. Krabs told SpongeBob to go see him, and he did. Karen, a hospital EKG, flatlined, and SpongeBob thought Spat was dead. The doctor came up and said he didn't get the acting part, and that the real Spat was actually all better and in the infirmary. SpongeBob was happy to hear Spat was better, but Spat felt betrayed that SpongeBob bought that Lay Spatula to replace him. SpongeBob apologized and started crying hysterically again.
All that glitters is not gold.
Then why is there a lyric from that Shrek song that says, all that glitters is gold? Spat rolled away on his wheelchair, and SpongeBob sobbed and slogged back to the Krusty Krab. And when he got there, he found Spat flipping Krabby Patties. SpongeBob was overjoyed to be reunited with Spat, but there was another order for a monster Krabby Patty. SpongeBob tried to flip it again, but this time his arm snapped off, which he found funny, and the episode ends. And we still never saw what a fully born monster Krabby Patty looks like. So that was all that glitters. And real quick, I have to ask this. Is the doctor even a real doctor? Did he try to audition for a role as a doctor? And if this isn't Spat, that gives Spat another reason to feel betrayed. SpongeBob didn't recognize him at first. We're all glossing over the fact that another spatula enthusiast lost their beloved spatula. Alright, now that I got that out of my system, let's get into the nitty gritty with this one. First, let's go over the biggest negative. The crying in this episode does bring it down a bit, I won't lie. It does go on for a while and it is annoying, both at the beginning and the end. But if I'm being honest, I'd say I prefer his crying here compared to his laughter in episode 126, Funny Pants. In my opinion, the laughing is more annoying there than the crying is here. Even if it's a little ridiculous that SpongeBob is crying this much over his relationship with a spatula, at least he has a reason to be crying here compared to how much he laughed over a joke that wasn't as funny as he thought it was. And not only that, but I kind of enjoyed when Patrick showed up out of nowhere here and when SpongeBob cried to the therapist. Those scenes alone are better than the long, drawn-out shots of SpongeBob laughing at Squidward and Squidward losing his happiness. So there you go, there's one positive spin on that scene. I got no positives to say for the second scene when SpongeBob cries though. As for some proper positives, I like when Squidward loves seeing SpongeBob naked, as well as everybody else's reactions to him naked as well. I like how Mr. Krabs is annoyed with SpongeBob overreacting to his spatula breaking, but then sympathizes with him when Lay's spatula refuses to work with SpongeBob. The montage of SpongeBob using spat for various shit is kinda nice too, and it's also sort of sweet when SpongeBob and Spat are back together at the end. Nothing bad happened to Squidward here either, and considering some of the other episodes we've gone through this season, this is impressive. In the later seasons, he'd get comically injured just for interrupting SpongeBob and Spat's moment at the end. But that didn't happen here. Embrace it. And I love the beginning when everybody is shocked by the order of the monster Krabby Patty. In addition to the classic all that glitters is not gold moral, this episode also teaches about the difficulty of letting go of sentimental objects. Sometimes it's necessary to let go of the past when you need to evolve your job or something. SpongeBob does need a spatula to flip Krabby Patties, but he didn't need one that was this fancy. I also have trouble of letting go of material possessions myself. My grandpa gave me his necklace, and while the text is a little worn down, I don't want to replace it because it was still my grandpa's. Even if I saw a brand new, perfectly pristine one, it can't truly replace the original from my grandpa, and that's all I truly need. And I refuse to let it go for that reason as well. Say what you will about SpongeBob here, but at least he has a fine character arc. He was immediately awestruck by the fancy Lay spatula and gave up everything just so he could get Lay spatula to do his job. Then the stuck-up spatula didn't want to touch the Krabby Patty, so SpongeBob realizes that all he needed was something to do his job, not the coolest thing ever to do his job. The morals here do help redeem this episode a bit, in my opinion, but for this show, they also work better when the situation has a better balance of funny humor, relatability, and how serious it needs to be taken. The whole situation is definitely taken more seriously than it needs to be, and there's not too much humor to supplement it. I understand SpongeBob not wanting a new spatula, but the episode makes the whole dilemma way more dramatic than it needs to be. That's not necessarily bad, but I don't think it works here. I've been devastated when something I loved or a piece of my collection broke, but when it was either repaired or replaced, I felt bad for taking the situation so seriously. Not only that, but this episode doesn't have a lot of story to it either, as evident by the crying scenes dragging on forever, as well as SpongeBob taking so long asking if everything he was offering was enough to buy Lay's spatula. The snappiest scene is definitely when SpongeBob shows off Lay's spatula, and then when he runs away later. It feels like there isn't enough plot here to fully reach 11 minutes, so it was dragged out to reach that. That's nothing new of course, but this is a worse example of that in my opinion. Losing a pet is definitely a situation that should be taken seriously, and the episode where that happened this season nailed the balance of comedy and being taken seriously. This one leans more towards the serious side. Sure, SpongeBob doesn't contemplate ending his life when Spat seemingly doesn't forgive him, but I also feel like the episode would be better if the situation was more lighthearted and SpongeBob wasn't crying as much as he was. So while the crying may be annoying, I don't find myself getting frustrated while watching it, but it's certainly not that funny either. There's also nothing offensive here, but the episode does drag on a lot at times. It's not the best episode, but it's still not the worst by a long shot. It does have some moments that I like, both some great character interactions and some solid morals and lessons that still resonated with me after all these years. I'm actually finding it hard to come up with more things to say. If the crying scenes were shortened, or even if we just got some time cards with this, that would save the episode quite a bit. And the episode could be worse if it was nothing but crying and it didn't teach its morals. But that's all I got. All That Glitters is an okay enough episode. Not amazing, but it could be worse. Even if the only way it could be worse would be if the crying was more annoying than the laughter in some other episodes, but that still counts. Sometimes the lack of humor can bring things down a few points, and in this case it does, but that's pretty much because there's barely any funny at all, and the situation is taken way more seriously than it should be. But I'll still give this episode points just for having actual morals you can learn, regardless of the context they're presented in. And disregarding the fact that this moral was stated out loud, why does that one song have the lyric that tries to teach the opposite of what the moral is supposed to be? I just don't get that. Well, now I need to move on to an episode that doesn't have media that tries to contradict the morals that the episode is trying to teach. Wishing You Well is the episode where Mr. Krabs creates a wishing well as another way to collect money and sends SpongeBob down in the well, who only wants to make the wishes come true. Like All That Glitters, this episode aired on June 2nd, 2006, and is the episode that reveals that Squidward is claustrophobic, which is not being afraid of Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho! I just said not, Patrick. Now this is another episode I don't see a lot of people talking about, and unlike All That Glitters, I think this one has a lot of great things going for it. I don't really see people talking about this one a lot when talking about really good SpongeBob episodes. I watched this episode on DVD so much when I was a kid, even sometimes when I had friends over or when I had a birthday party. Season 4 has some great episodes and some episodes, but it feels like this one is kind of glossed over to an extent. Well, today, I'm gonna break that tradition. Let's watch this episode so I can properly give it the flowers it deserves. So the episode starts up and Mr. Krabs can't steal any money he couldn't find in the payphone. He hears a quarter drop on the ground, but a mom stops him from taking it because her son dropped it. The kid threw it into a wishing well, and the lady smacked Mr. Krabs with her purse. He looked down into the well and saw a lot of coins down there. He tried to get them, but he couldn't fit down the well. And that was after his shell grew back too. This one must be much stronger than the last one. Mr. Krabs saw a couple about to throw a quarter down the well, but caught it before it fell down. They explained how a wishing well works, and Mr. Krabs thought it was an amazing scam. It's true, I've been a victim of much worse scams, and what made those scams so bad is the fact that they weren't fun. At the Krusty Krab, Squidward was grumpy as usual, but thankful for not digging ditches. Right on cue, Mr. Krabs came inside and gave them shovels to dig a hole for a new wishing well, which he would call the Eugene Krabs Memorial Wishing Well. SpongeBob was excited for it, hoping many people's wishes would come true, but Squidward, who doesn't believe in magic, didn't help at all. SpongeBob started singing a song about the spirits and magic of wishing wells and how they can make wishes come true. The well was finished surprisingly quick when the song was finished.
Well, Squidward, what do you think?
That was the worst song I ever heard.
Believe me, Squidward, there are songs that are so much worse than that one could ever be. Mr. Krabs was impressed with how the well looked. He sent Squidward back to the register and gave SpongeBob a promotion by sending him down into the well to collect the money. SpongeBob was nervous about how dark it was down there, but his mood soon improved when Sandy wished for a new telescope that she could use underwater. Plankton wished to be much taller, and Mrs. Puff wished for a snazzy swag new boat. Patrick threw his empty soda cup down the well thinking it was a trash can, and SpongeBob's voice made him think the well was talking to him. SpongeBob told him to make a wish, and Patrick wishes SpongeBob was there to see this. He accidentally fell down the well and was happy to see SpongeBob. Despite SpongeBob's slight annoyance, he and Patrick played tag for 6.5 hours until Mr. Krabs showed up that night. How are either of them getting food or drinks? SpongeBob sent the money up and asked if any of the wishes came true. Mr. Krabs said not yet, but they will if he believes strong enough and digs deep enough. He then leaves them down there in case somebody else comes out to make a wish at night. How are either of them getting any nourishment or sleep? SpongeBob was sad that nobody's wishes were coming true, so he and Patrick decided to dig deeper to find the magic. They start digging deeper while SpongeBob sings how great it will be when they find magic while there's a whole ass construction process going on. When the song was over, the equipment was gone. Oh, and they find the magic. SpongeBob was overjoyed, but their victory was rudely interrupted by Squidward rejoicing in the fact that SpongeBob and Patrick were down in the well. SpongeBob said he and Patrick found the magic and wanted Squidward to see it. Squidward didn't believe them, but he ended up falling down the well and was stuck down there. Squidward tried to climb out, but he couldn't make it. And even worse, with how close to him Patrick was standing, Squidward started to become claustrophobic, which SpongeBob and Patrick thought it meant he was afraid of Santa Claus. Oh really? I thought it meant it was a fear of claws. You know, crab claws, lobster claws, claws from any creature that has claws. They were too close to each other, and Squidward kept accidentally touching Patrick's food. Oh, so that's how they got food. That doesn't explain any drinks or sleep though. Patrick and Squidward started fighting despite SpongeBob's disappointment, and it ended with Patrick crushing Squidward. The next morning, Mr. Krabs arrived and pulled up the bucket, and Squidward was so relieved to be freed. And he just wished to be very far away from here, and then got hit by a bus that was indeed going very, very far away. SpongeBob told Mr. Krabs how they found magic, but Mr. Krabs said that just wishing for things doesn't guarantee you'll get everything you want in life. Sure enough, Sandy, Mrs. Puff, and then Plankton all swung by showing that their wishes have indeed come true, but Mr. Krabs still refused to believe in magic. He tried to prove it by wishing he was steamed and served with a side of melted butter. And sure enough, it came true, with Mr. Krabs admitting he changed his mind on magic, and the episode ends. Well, I guess calling the well the Eugene Krabs Memorial Wishing Well was foreshadowing after all. Or was it? So that was wishing you well, and that is a really good episode. In my opinion, this is one of the most underrated episodes of the whole series. There's so much great about this one. First, let's talk about the songs. I always really enjoyed both of them. I love how the first one has subtly dark tones about throwing your dreams down the well. Sure, it's ultimately about a way to make your dreams come true, but I love that the main lyric is, throw all your dreams down the well. The other song is much shorter, but I like the visuals of SpongeBob and Patrick digging underground, and how this one is about not giving up on fulfilling your dreams and or wishes. Not to mention, SpongeBob's voice is actually much deeper when he's singing here. I know a lot of people who said they didn't like how SpongeBob's voice changed and became much higher pitched starting with season 4, the first season after the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. While it doesn't bother me as much as others, I'd say the fact that his voice is lower when he sings this song, that alone makes this episode worth watching and the songs worth listening to. Sure, they may not be as memorable as something like the Ripped Pants song, the Fun song, or the Campfire song, but they are still very good in my opinion. They are far better than the actual worst song in the mainstream series, the Euphoria theme song. So yeah, the songs are pretty good and is something that makes the episode worth watching. The characters are also pretty good too. I don't think any of them are abhorrently out of character. SpongeBob is definitely optimistic and excited about the wishing well and how it will make wishes come true, but he's not annoying or insufferable to the point where you eventually start to hate him for his actions. He's always believed in magic, so of course he wants to find the true magic to make everybody's wishes come true, and when he accomplishes that, he's very proud of himself for doing it. Patrick's pretty good too. His thinking the well is a trash can who's talking to him at first is kinda like when he thinks his ice cream was alive in episode 14, Hall Monitor from season 1.
Patrick!
My ice cream! It's alive! Ah!
Patrick!
How do you know my name?
It's quick, it's snappy, and not too annoying. And both scenes even end with him falling on top of SpongeBob. Even when he has an angry face or gets in a fight with Squidward, I don't mind it that much. People can get all riled up like that if they're trapped in a small space like a wishing well. Squidward's good too, but like I said, it's kind of impossible to get him wrong. Sandy, Mrs. Puff, and Plankton don't get much screen time, but their scenes are pretty good in my opinion. Mr. Krabs may come off as a bit dickish, but I don't mind it this time. It might be a bit strange he's never heard of a wishing well, but I don't mind him trying to build one here. I've seen a couple restaurants that have a fountain outside where people make wishes. I don't know what happens to the coins that people throw in the fountain in the long run, but I know some restaurants have fountains like that. In terms of Mr. Krabs' money-making schemes, in my opinion, this is actually one of his weaker ones. By the end of the first day, he didn't even make 10 cents from this.
I got a nickel from Sandy, 2 pennies from Mrs. Puff, a penny from Plankton, and this slightly used pair of dentures.
I don't think Mr. Krabs is a villain in this one, on the same level as something like episode 77, Jellyfish Hunter from season 2. He's not absolutely ruthless towards SpongeBob and glaring at him the whole time like in that one. Sure, he does send SpongeBob down into the well and leaves him there till dark, and then again until dawn. Like, why can't he send SpongeBob down in the well at the end of the shift to bring up the money? But at least here, he classified it as kind of a promotion.
It's kind of a promotion. Sorta.
Meaning at least SpongeBob is working here and getting paid somehow. Whereas in Jellyfish Hunter, he makes SpongeBob jellyfish on his own time and not during work hours.
Oh boy, getting paid to jellyfish. That's my life's dream.
Well, keep dreaming. This'll be on your time.
Despite this task being for work. Aside from that, I do love how he gets what he deserves for leaving SpongeBob and Patrick down in the well all day and night, and scoffing SpongeBob for believing in magic. Honestly, I don't have many downsides to this one. It's a genuinely great episode that doesn't feel like it gets the love it deserves. In terms of funny moments, my favorite part was always SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward down in the well together. Especially when Patrick and Squidward start fighting. I like SpongeBob and Squidward's banter throughout the whole runtime, when the lady hits Mr. Krabs with her purse, and Squidward's comments on the dumpster.
That's the smell of money!
You mean magic, don't ya?
All I can smell is that dumpster.
There's also a lot of smaller things I really like, such as this couple right here, the design of Mrs. Puff's new boat, the fact that I learned about claustrophobia from this episode when I was a kid, and just the fact that all the characters got what they wished for, in one way or another. In my opinion, this feels like another episode that is a great showcase of what SpongeBob the show is all about. SpongeBob believes in magic, so he makes sure to find it in some way. He finds the magic in a piece of fucking paper and has a blast with it in episode 33, The Paper from season 1. Episode 88, Idiot Box from season 3 is all about him showcasing the magic of imagination. And in this episode, he's determined to find the magic of the wishing well to make all the wishes come true, and he does just that. For the most part, I can see this fitting in season 1 or 2 with nothing really changed. It's a great episode that I can go back to at any time of the week, just like I can with the other best or favorite episodes of the show. One of the best episodes of season 4, if you ask me. Wishing You Well is a great episode. It's an underrated gem in my opinion, and deserves to be watched by any SpongeBob fan. It's an episode beyond seasons 1, 2, and 3 that is still a great showcase of what makes SpongeBob so beloved. Great songs, great character dialogue, funny moments, it's got it all. I don't care what anybody says. This is a genuinely good episode, and I will stand by it no matter the general consensus. Well, that's one problem solved. But I still have a million other personal and real life problems that are unresolved. So I'm going to go get a quarter and find a wishing well to wish those problems away. 1 hour later. I couldn't find any wishing wells, so I'll have to settle for this cup of water. I wish all my problems were gone. The next day. Alright, let's see. Ooh, that problem still exists. Aw, my wish didn't come true.